The night is quiet, and the air carries the weight of ancient whispers. Close your eyes and listen, for every silence holds a secret. Beyond the stars and the marble temples, there is a throne unseen. It is not carved from stone, nor crowned with jewels of kings. This throne belongs to Athena, goddess of wisdom, guardian of thought. Her voice is eternal, not loud but soft like the hush of dawn. It does not command armies, nor demand worship with fear. Instead, it lingers within the heart, guiding with reason and light. Every age has heard it, though few have truly understood its call. Some found it in the stillness of libraries, under candles' glow. Others discovered it in the moment of choice, between pride and truth. It is a voice that does not fade, only waits for us to listen. Tonight, we journey into the story of that throne and its voice. We walk through myth and memory, where gods meet mortal dreams. And as the tale unfolds, ask yourself a simple question. If Athena's throne is eternal, perhaps it rests not in the sky. Perhaps it rests within you, waiting to be awakened, waiting to speak. In the beginning, there was silence, deeper than oceans, older than mountains. From that silence rose a whisper, light as the wind, soft as the breath of dawn. This whisper was the seed of wisdom, the first spark of clarity in a world of shadows. It carried no thunder, no flame, no sword, only the promise of understanding. The ancients believed this whisper belonged to Athena, the goddess of wisdom. She was not born with a cry, but with a thought, clear and radiant. Her essence was not in battle, but in the stillness of reason. Every story told of her begins not with fear, but with light. Her throne was not built of stone or ivory, but of unseen truths. It existed wherever the human mind dared to question, dared to see. The eternal voice is said to echo in those moments of discovery. When a child learns a new word, the voice stirs like gentle rain. When a philosopher gazes at the stars, the voice hums like distant lyres. When a leader chooses justice over pride, the voice steadies the heart. It is not a voice of command, but of invitation. It does not shout, it guides, like lanterns along a hidden path. And those who listen, they find themselves lifted into clarity. The ancients imagined Athena's voice as woven threads of silver. Each word spun into the fabric of destiny, shaping lives quietly. Not with chains, but with choices. Not with rules, but with wisdom. That is why they called her guardian of thought, mother of vision. Her voice did not dwell only in temples or sacred places. It echoed in the marketplace, in the courts, in the humble home. Wherever questions rose, the eternal voice was present, unseen but near. Some said it could be heard in the rustle of olive leaves. Others claimed it lived in the sound of pen upon parchment. Poets heard it in dreams, painters in colors, sailors in winds. It was never the same for two souls, yet always recognizable. It was Athena, but it was also the soul of human thought. She was both divine and familiar, eternal yet within reach. And in her voice, the ancients found courage to explore the unknown. They dared to map the seas, measure the heavens, and seek truth, not because they were fearless, but because the voice steadied them. It told them that knowledge was not danger, but a form of light. That light did not burn, it revealed. It warmed, it healed. Generations passed, yet the whisper never faded, never died. For every era needed wisdom, every heart needed guidance. The throne of Athena remained unseen, yet always present, not on Olympus, not in marble, but within each seeking soul. And the eternal voice, like a river, flowed into every age. It reminded mortals that wisdom is not a gift of few, It is a birthright of all who dare to listen. And so the story of origins is not about power. It is about the quiet force that shaped thought itself. A whisper born from silence, a voice that outlasts empires. The eternal voice of Athena, waiting in every breath we take. The throne of Athena was never made of marble, nor forged in fire. It was unseen, yet eternal, resting in the quiet chambers of thought. No temple could contain it, no crown could define its silent power. The throne lived in the unseen space between questions and answers. It was a seat of wisdom, not a symbol of wealth or force. Mortals built thrones of gold and iron, but hers needed no stone. It existed in every choice where truth was weighed above pride. When a mother soothed her child with gentle counsel, it was there. When a scholar searched the stars for meaning, the throne glowed. When a leader listened with patience instead of anger, it appeared. The throne of Athena was not visible, but it was always felt. It did not demand kneeling, it invited reflection and clear sight. Some imagined it as a chair of light woven with olive leaves. Others saw it as a flame that never burned, only illuminated. But those who truly listened knew it was neither flame nor seat. It was a state of being, a place reached through stillness. The ancients spoke of it in parables, never in commands. They said the throne waited for every seeker of truth to arrive. To sit upon it was not to rule, but to understand. And in understanding, one found power that outlasted armies and kings. Athens itself was shaped by this unseen throne of wisdom, its debates, its laws, its art, all born from the echo of her voice. The city became more than stone walls, it became a living mind. Within that mind, Athena's throne pulsed like a hidden heart. The eternal voice was not locked away in temples or scrolls. It moved through the streets, through the questions of the people. Every conversation, every argument, was a chance to hear her call. Some claimed they could sense the throne when silence grew deep. Others said they felt it when truth emerged from confusion. It was never about owning, but about listening, opening, receiving. The throne did not rise above mortals. It rose within them, and so it defied every kingdom built on fear and force. For when rulers tried to silence wisdom, the voice remained alive. It flowed through poets, through thinkers, through the simplest of souls. The throne of Athena could not be toppled, for it was unseen. It could not be stolen, for it belonged to every mind. And so it became eternal, seated not in stone, but in spirit. In every age, seekers returned to it, carrying questions of their time. And every age heard the same gentle guidance, spoken without end. The throne did not change, but the listeners always did. They found new meaning, new strength in the old eternal voice. It was the same in ancient Athens as in our own hearts today. The throne waits not in ruins, but in the silence we hold. When we stop to reflect, to seek truth beyond noise, it awakens. Athena's eternal throne is the invitation to dwell in wisdom. It asks no oath, demands no offering, only the courage to listen. For in listening, we sit upon it, and her voice becomes our own. This is the throne beyond marble, beyond time, beyond sight. It is the throne of Athena, eternal, unseen, yet forever alive. Long before cities rose, and before temples crowned the hills, there was only the vast hush of the earth. In that hush, humankind struggled to understand the mysteries of night and dawn. They watched the sky, traced the rivers, listened to the winds, yet found no answer. Then came a moment, quiet but eternal, when the first voice was heard. It was not thunder, not storm, not fire, but the calm breath of wisdom. The ancients believed this was the first time Athena spoke to mortals. Her words were not commands, they were questions gently placed in the heart. She asked not for worship, but for thought, for reflection, for vision. And in that instant, something shifted within the human spirit. They discovered that knowledge was not only outside, but also within. The birth of the voice was like dawn breaking after endless night. It did not dazzle. It revealed, as if shadows themselves learned to soften. Athena's voice was described as clear as water, steady as the olive tree. Each word carried a seed, and from that seed grew courage to think. She taught that every question was a thread, leading to deeper understanding. Mortals learned to follow those threads, weaving patterns of reason and truth. Some said they first heard her in dreams, where silence spoke as light. Others claimed the voice stirred during moments of decision, sharp and still. It was not heard with ears, but with the inner chamber of mind. This birth of voice did not end in one moment. It grew across time. Every era heard it in new tones, yet always the same essence. It taught fishermen to read the tides, farmers to know the seasons. It guided poets to carve beauty from words and thinkers from thought. Athena's gift was not to give answers, but to awaken questions. She was not a teacher with scrolls, but a flame that stirred wonder. And once awakened, the voice could never be silenced, not by fear. The ancients said the first birth of the voice happened by a river. A lone wanderer asked the stars for meaning, and the answer was clarity. He returned to his people, speaking not of gods, but of thought. And from that moment, humanity began to see with new eyes. The eternal voice grew not from shouting, but from quiet recognition. It showed that wisdom was not distant, but woven into every breath. Every child carried it, every elder heard it, every seeker found it. And so the throne of Athena was born, not in temples, but in hearts. The voice became a guide, a compass through the storms of doubt. It told humankind that truth is not a possession, but a pursuit. That pursuit was the flame that lit the path of civilizations to come. The birth of the voice was the birth of courage to ask. And in every age, its echo can still be heard, soft but steady. It waits in the silence, in the pause between thought and action. It is the eternal gift of Athena, the voice that began with a whisper. The whisper that shaped mortals into thinkers, dreamers, and seekers of light. Silence has always been the doorway to the eternal voice of Athena. It is said that her wisdom cannot be heard in noise or in pride. The ancients believed that the quiet of dawn was her sacred temple. When the city still slept and only the birds sang, her voice stirred. She spoke not in thunder, but in spaces between the beating of hearts. Mortals called these moments the gift of the guardians of silence. They were not beings of flesh, but symbols of stillness and pause. The guardians watched over every seeker who dared to listen deeply. They taught that silence was not emptiness, but the cradle of wisdom. For in silence, the voice of Athena could grow clear and luminous. A poet once wrote that the olive trees spoke when winds grew soft. Their rustle was not mere sound, but a reminder of the goddess. He claimed the guardians of silence sat upon their branches unseen. Another told of a sailor lost at sea, surrounded by roaring waves. When fear consumed him, he closed his eyes and found silence within. In that quiet, the eternal voice guided him back to shore. Such stories became lessons, repeated across generations like gentle prayers. They whispered, "Do not fear silence, for silence is the path to light." And indeed, silence was more than absence. It was presence itself. Noise fills the ears, but silence opens the chamber of thought. In the hush, one hears not only Athena, but also one's own truth. The guardians of silence were described as veils of air and light. They could not be seen, yet their presence was always reassuring. They taught that wisdom was not forced, but invited through stillness. And so, seekers practiced the art of quiet waiting and gentle listening. Some sat by rivers, some under trees, some within their own hearts. All found that in silence, the eternal voice would reveal its path. Athena's throne was said to rest upon silence like a foundation. Without it, her wisdom could not be heard or understood clearly. The ancients held moments of pause with reverence as sacred offerings. They believed silence itself was a prayer, an opening to the divine. Even in courts of debate, when arguments grew fierce, silence was honored. A pause between words allowed Athena's voice to enter the dialogue. In those pauses, decisions found clarity, and justice found its anchor. Silence was not weakness. It was strength hidden in gentleness. It shielded seekers from confusion, allowing them to see with clear sight. The guardians of silence reminded mortals that rushing blinds the spirit. But patience and stillness unveil what lies hidden in the shadows. Through silence, the eternal voice has guided generations without failing. It is not bound by time, nor silenced by distance or doubt. In the hush of night, in the breath before a choice, it waits. The voice of Athena is not lost. It is guarded by silence. To hear it, one must dare to sit in stillness and trust. The guardians do not block the path. They open it gently. They ask only that the seeker honor the quiet within themselves. For it is there, in that inner temple, that Athena speaks most clearly. Thus the story reminds us that silence is never empty or cold. It is the hidden sanctuary where the eternal throne shines brightest. And in that silence, the eternal voice of Athena whispers, "Forever alive." Athena has always been linked with the loom, the art of weaving destiny and thought. Her loom was no ordinary tool, but a symbol of order drawn from chaos. Threads of gold, silver, and shadow stretched across her timeless frame. Each thread carried a story, a choice, a possibility waiting to be shaped. She wove not for kings alone, but for mortals, dreamers, seekers of light. Every design upon her loom held wisdom hidden within patterns of meaning. The ancients believed that the tapestry of the world was guided by her hand. They said that stars themselves were threads spun from her eternal loom. When she touched the threads, destinies trembled, yet never broke. For Athena's weaving was not to bind, but to balance. She wove courage into fear, clarity into confusion, and justice into power. Each strand was chosen with care, never wasted, never without purpose. A farmer saw her weaving in the cycles of seasons and harvest. A sailor saw it in the dance of winds and waves upon the sea. A mother saw it in the growth of her child, steady and sure. The loom of Athena connected all lives, each thread part of a whole. She showed mortals that no choice was isolated, no life stood alone. Every act tugged another thread, shaping the greater tapestry of existence. Thus, her loom became a mirror of wisdom, teaching balance and consequence. Some said they could hear the hum of her loom in silence. The steady rhythm was like a heartbeat of the universe itself. It reminded them that even in chaos, order patiently unfolds. The loom did not erase suffering, but it wove meaning through it. In patterns unseen, sorrow gave way to compassion, loss to understanding. Each knot, each twist, was a lesson hidden beneath the fabric of time. The ancients told a tale of a young weaver who sought Athena's throne. She longed to weave like the goddess, to shape destiny with her hands. Athena appeared not in power, but in silence, guiding her loom. She whispered, "Every thread matters, but the whole matters most." The girl wove with humility, and her work sang with truth. Through her, mortals learned that wisdom is found in patience and detail. The loom of Athena became not just divine, but human in spirit. For every person holds a loom of choices within their own heart. Each day they weave threads of action, thought, and word into being. The goddess simply reminds them to weave with care and balance. Her eternal loom shows that beauty is not in perfection, but in harmony. The strongest fabric is not flawless, but woven with threads that endure. Generations passed, yet the tale of her loom never faded. Philosophers spoke of it as the pattern of truth across all minds. Artists painted it in colors unseen, poets sang it in verses. Every seeker found in it the reminder that destiny is crafted, not given. And still, the eternal loom hums in silence, weaving lives together. It is the rhythm behind every choice, the thread within every story. The throne of Athena rests upon this loom, steady and eternal. Not to control, but to remind. We are all weavers of our path. Each thread, each decision, becomes part of something far greater. And in the weaving, the eternal voice whispers, "Seek wisdom, weave truth." The eternal throne of Athena was not made of stone, gold, or jewels. It was a throne woven of wisdom, of justice, of unseen strength. Legends say it rested high upon a hill where olive trees bloomed. The air there was still, yet alive with whispers carried on the wind. Travelers who climbed the hill claimed their hearts grew lighter. They said the throne was not built for power, but for guidance. Its seat did not command obedience. It invited reflection. Mortals who approached it felt no fear, only quiet courage. The throne was simple, shaped by light and silence intertwined. Some saw it as a chair of radiant marble shining like dawn. Others swore it appeared as wood carved from an ancient olive. Each vision was true, for the throne reflected the seeker's heart. It revealed not what was, but what one needed to understand. That was Athena's gift, a throne that listened as much as it spoke. Priests once told of a farmer who sought justice for his land. He climbed the hill with weary steps, burdened by grief. When he stood before the throne, he found no decree written. Instead, he heard within himself the answer he had sought. The throne had drawn out the voice that lived inside his silence. Another story spoke of a child who came with only curiosity. She asked nothing, she sought nothing, she only wondered. The throne shone like sunlight through olive branches and smiled. In her innocence, she heard laughter, wisdom in its gentlest form. For the throne gave not only judgment, but also joy. Philosophers gathered there in ages past, debating by its presence, yet their arguments softened as silence guided their words. The throne reminded them that truth is found between extremes. No ruler sat upon it, no conqueror claimed it as their own. For the throne of Athena belonged to no one and to all. It was eternal because it was not bound by flesh or time. A queen once knelt before it, seeking strength for her people. The throne did not grant her power, but showed her balance. Her reign became remembered not for conquest, but for fairness. Thus the throne became a beacon, not a crown of command. Some believed that the throne itself was alive, breathing wisdom. They swore it pulsed with light when truth entered the air. Others said it was empty, but its emptiness was divine. For in emptiness, the eternal voice of Athena could be heard. The throne stood not above mortals, but within reach of all. It was not guarded by gates, nor hidden behind walls. Its only guardian was silence. Its only test was patience. Those who hurried past it missed its gift, never knowing. Those who paused in reverence discovered more than they expected. It is said even today, the throne waits in unseen places, perhaps in a quiet forest, perhaps within a hidden dream. It rests wherever seekers dare to listen beyond the noise. For the eternal throne is not far. It lives within the heart. Every choice, every pause, builds the seat of Athena inside us. Her throne is eternal because wisdom never fades, only waits. And when we honor silence, we sit upon that throne ourselves. The eternal voice speaks then, gentle yet unshakable. It reminds us that power is fleeting, but wisdom endures. Thus, the throne of Athena is not legend alone, it is alive. Alive in every moment we choose justice, truth, and clarity. Alive in every heart that dares to listen and be still. For the throne is eternal, as is the voice that dwells upon it. The eternal throne of Athena was not made of stone, gold, or jewels. It was a throne woven of wisdom, of justice, of unseen strength. Legends say it rested high upon a hill where olive trees bloomed. The air there was still, yet alive with whispers carried on the wind. Travelers who climbed the hill claimed their hearts grew lighter. They said the throne was not built for power, but for guidance. Its seat did not command obedience. It invited reflection. Mortals who approached it felt no fear, only quiet courage. The throne was simple, shaped by light and silence intertwined. Some saw it as a chair of radiant marble shining like dawn. Others swore it appeared as wood carved from an ancient olive. Each vision was true, for the throne reflected the seeker's heart. It revealed not what was, but what one needed to understand. That was Athena's gift, a throne that listened as much as it spoke. Priests once told of a farmer who sought justice for his land. He climbed the hill with weary steps, burdened by grief. When he stood before the throne, he found no decree written. Instead, he heard within himself the answer he had sought. The throne had drawn out the voice that lived inside his silence. Another story spoke of a child who came with only curiosity. She asked nothing. She sought nothing. She only wondered. The throne shone like sunlight through olive branches and smiled. In her innocence, she heard laughter, wisdom in its gentlest form. For the throne gave not only judgment, but also joy. Philosophers gathered there in ages past, debating by its presence. Yet their arguments softened as silence guided their words. The throne reminded them that truth is found between extremes. No ruler sat upon it, no conqueror claimed it as their own. For the throne of Athena belonged to no one and to all. It was eternal because it was not bound by flesh or time. A queen once knelt before it, seeking strength for her people. The throne did not grant her power, but showed her balance. Her reign became remembered not for conquest, but for fairness. Thus, the throne became a beacon, not a crown of command. Some believed that the throne itself was alive, breathing wisdom. They swore it pulsed with light when truth entered the air. Others said it was empty, but its emptiness was divine. For in emptiness, the eternal voice of Athena could be heard. The throne stood not above mortals, but within reach of all. It was not guarded by gates, nor hidden behind walls. Its only guardian was silence. Its only test was patience. Those who hurried past it missed its gift, never knowing. Those who paused in reverence discovered more than they expected. It is said even today, the throne waits in unseen places. Perhaps in a quiet forest, perhaps within a hidden dream. It rests wherever seekers dare to listen beyond the noise. For the eternal throne is not far. It lives within the heart. Every choice, every pause, builds the seat of Athena inside us. Her throne is eternal because wisdom never fades, only waits. And when we honor silence, we sit upon that throne ourselves. The eternal voice speaks then, gentle yet unshakable. It reminds us that power is fleeting, but wisdom endures. Thus, the throne of Athena is not legend alone. It is alive. Alive in every moment we choose justice, truth, and clarity. Alive in every heart that dares to listen and be still. For the throne is eternal, as is the voice that dwells upon it. In the quiet of evening, the eternal flame of Athena was said to awaken. It was not a fire that burned wood or consumed air with smoke. This flame was invisible to the unready, yet brighter than the sun. Legends told that it lived in the hearts of those who sought truth. It gave warmth not to the body, but to the spirit in silence. The ancients called it the light of discernment, the fire of clarity. When doubts clouded the mind, the flame could cut through the fog. It revealed paths hidden in shadow, choices waiting to be seen. Yet the flame was gentle, never forcing, only guiding with light. It asked for no sacrifice, only sincerity and attention within. A tale tells of a scholar who searched for wisdom in books. He studied day and night until his eyes grew dim with strain. Still, the answers he sought eluded him, scattered like falling leaves. One evening, exhausted, he sat in silence and let go of striving. In that stillness, he felt a warmth rising quietly inside him. It was the eternal flame, showing him that wisdom breathes in, pause. The scholar returned to his studies, but with clearer sight and ease. For he no longer read for power, but for truth that nourishes. Another story spoke of a wanderer lost in the desert of life. He carried burdens of fear, regret, and longing heavy on his back. The night was cold, the road endless, and hope seemed far away. But when he stopped beneath the stars, the flame flickered within. It whispered that every step mattered, that the journey held meaning. With new strength, he walked on, lighter than before, filled with resolve. The flame of Athena is eternal, for it is not bound by time. It appears in every generation, in every heart that dares to listen. Some hear it as a soft voice, others see it as inner light. All agree it is a gift of clarity born from silence and truth. Priests once lit olive oil lamps as symbols of this unseen flame. Their glow reminded mortals that wisdom burns quietly yet endlessly. Even today, a single candle in darkness can feel like her presence. For the flame is not about brightness, but about direction and meaning. It does not blind, but reveals what was hidden in shadow. Athena's throne itself was said to be illuminated by this flame. Without it, the throne would be unseen, lost in eternal night. The flame gave form to the silence, making wisdom visible to seekers. It turned confusion into patterns, and despair into small sparks of hope. The eternal flame was also a guardian of truth in difficult times. When lies spread like wildfire, the flame remained steady and pure. It could not be extinguished by fear, nor twisted by power. For truth, once lit, can never truly be destroyed, only forgotten. Those who carried the flame in their hearts became beacons themselves. They inspired others, not by force, but by the quiet glow of wisdom. In this way, the flame spread without burning, a light shared endlessly. It reminded mortals that wisdom is not hoarded, but passed forward. And so, generation after generation, the eternal flame endures. It burns in the scholar, in the wanderer, in the child at play. It is the silent fire that guides decisions when all else is unclear. And even now, as night falls and silence deepens, the flame lives on, The eternal voice of Athena whispers through it. Seek light within, for the flame is eternal, and its throne rests inside every soul. The ancients spoke often of the olive tree, sacred to Athena and her throne. They said its roots reached deep into the earth, drawing strength from silence. Its branches stretched toward the sky, carrying prayers on the wind. The olive tree was no mere plant, but a living symbol of wisdom. Legends told that the first tree was planted by Athena herself. It grew not from seed alone, but from her gift of clarity. Its fruit nourished, its wood sheltered, its oil burned with steady light. Thus the olive tree became a bridge between mortals and the goddess. Each leaf shimmered like a whisper, carrying her eternal voice. Every harvest was treated as a sacred exchange, not just survival. Farmers bowed before the tree, thanking Athena for her quiet gift. Poets sat beneath its shade, hearing verses bloom like soft blossoms. Children played near its roots, feeling safe as if watched by her. The olive tree was called the silent companion of the throne. For where the throne of Athena rested, the tree was never far. Its roots seemed to hold the throne steady, grounding wisdom in earth. Its branches seemed to shield it, like guardians of gentle green. Travelers who found an olive grove felt the goddess close at hand. They claimed the trees hummed softly, a song without words or sound. Some believed the guardians of silence dwelled within the olive leaves. Others swore the eternal flame hid in the oil pressed from its fruit. Whatever the tale, the olive tree was always tied to Athena's voice. One story spoke of a village struck by drought and despair. The people gathered beneath a great olive tree, pleading for relief. No thunder came, no storm appeared, only silence filled the air. Yet in that silence, they found patience, unity, and quiet hope. When rain finally arrived, they said the tree had carried their prayer. Another tale told of a young woman who carved figures from its wood. She shaped not idols of power, but symbols of balance and truth. Each carving seemed alive, radiating peace when held in the hand. She was said to be guided by Athena, weaving wisdom into form. The olive tree thus became a canvas of the goddess's eternal presence. Its bark rough with age, yet its leaves always fresh and bright. It taught mortals that wisdom is both enduring and renewing. That even in hardship, the roots hold firm and life returns. Philosophers often sat beneath the trees to debate and to listen. Their words softened in its shade, tempered by the patience of nature. They knew the olive tree taught without speaking, through its simple being. For wisdom was not only in books or scrolls, but in living silence. The throne of Athena, eternal and unseen, was mirrored in the tree, both grounded in stillness, both reaching toward light beyond themselves. Together, they reminded mortals that wisdom is balance, rooted yet free. Even today, an olive branch is offered as a sign of peace. Its meaning endures because its source was never of mortals alone. It was a gift of Athena, woven into the fabric of the world. To carry an olive branch is to carry her eternal whisper. It is to honor stillness, patience, and the gentle strength of wisdom. And so, the olive tree continues to grow across lands and ages, not as a relic, but as a living throne of the goddess's voice. It stands in fields, in gardens, in hearts, ever watchful, ever alive. And when the wind stirs its leaves, the eternal voice returns, whispering softly, reminding us of the throne of Athena that never fades. The throne of Athena was said to rest not only in temples or groves, it also dwelled in the hearts of those who sought truth in silence. Among the ancients, storytellers told of a hidden library beneath the earth. This library was not built of stone, but of memory and light. It was called the Chamber of Echoes, where voices of wisdom lingered. There, no flame burned, yet a glow shimmered like dawn within shadows. The shelves did not hold scrolls or clay tablets, but whispers woven into air. Each whisper was a fragment of Athena's eternal voice, preserved by silence. Travelers who stumbled upon the chamber felt no fear, only calm. They described a hush so deep it made their thoughts clear. Some claimed they saw visions, others heard words without sound. Yet all left with a sense of balance, as if the goddess touched them. The library's guardians were not men nor beasts, but stillness itself. Silence kept the voices safe, guarding them from time and corruption. The ancients said the throne of Athena had a reflection there, an invisible seat at the heart of the chamber, woven of calm. Those who sat in silence upon that unseen throne gained clarity, not the clarity of conquest, but of understanding the threads of life. One tale spoke of a young philosopher who found the chamber by chance. He wandered, restless, searching for truth beyond the noise of the city. The silence greeted him like a cloak, and his heart grew still. He closed his eyes and listened, though there was nothing to hear. In that nothing, a gentle voice rose within him, patient and wise. It told him that truth is not always found in questions, but in pause. That wisdom grows not by rushing, but by resting where thoughts meet. When he left, his words carried weight, though softly spoken. People gathered not because he shouted, but because he listened. They said the Chamber of Echoes had crowned him with Athena's gift. Another tale told of a woman who sought comfort in grief. Her family was gone, her life seemed hollow, her heart without anchor. She entered the chamber, not knowing what she would find. Silence wrapped around her, not to erase, but to hold. She felt her sorrow settle like leaves upon water, no longer raging. In the stillness, she discovered her pain had meaning, not emptiness. When she emerged, she carried a peace unshaken by storm or loss. The people of her village called her the weaver of calm. She taught them to honor silence as a teacher, not a void. The chamber thus became more than myth, more than hidden wonder. It became a mirror of the eternal throne, a place of unseen crown. For Athena's voice was never about volume, but about presence. The whispers stored in the chamber were not hers alone. They were echoes of all who had listened to her before. Generations of seekers had left behind their truths, woven into silence. Thus the throne was both divine and human, both ancient and living. It did not stand apart from mortals, but grew within them. The Chamber of Echoes taught that wisdom is communal, not solitary. That every voice, when stilled, contributes to the eternal song. Even today, ruins are searched for signs of this hidden library. But perhaps it was never stone at all, never beneath the ground. Perhaps it was always within, in the silent chamber of the heart. The throne of Athena is not found by digging or discovery. It is found by listening, by entering stillness without fear. For when silence is honored, the eternal voice speaks again. And in that quiet, the throne of Athena reveals itself anew. The story draws to its end, yet the voice of Athena does not fade. For wisdom is not a tale concluded, but a presence that continues. We have walked through temples of marble and groves of olive trees. We have entered chambers of silence and listened to whispers of light. Each step has shown us that the throne of Athena is not of stone. It is not gilded, nor guarded by warriors, nor placed upon high altars. Instead, it rests in stillness, in balance, in the heart that listens. The ancients knew this, though they spoke in riddles and myths. They saw her voice in flames that never burned, in branches that never broke. They heard her wisdom in echoes, in stories, in quiet moments of choice. And we too are part of this unbroken thread across the ages. For the throne of Athena is eternal because it is not bound by time. It belongs to all who pause long enough to hear what silence teaches. Wisdom is not loud, it does not demand, it does not conquer. It waits, patient, like an olive tree in a field of wind. It speaks in choices, in kindness, in words withheld and words spoken. It guides the weary traveler, the questioning thinker, the grieving heart. In every age, people seek answers in noise, yet find peace in quiet. And so the throne remains, unseen yet near, eternal yet intimate. Perhaps you wonder now where you might find it for yourself. Do not search the ruins of temples, nor dig beneath forgotten stones. Do not wander endlessly, hoping for hidden chambers to appear. The throne is not there, for it never left the place it belongs. It rests within you, in the quiet between your thoughts. It rests in the way you choose patience over haste, truth over pride. It rests in how you listen to another, not to reply, but to hear. It rests in the silence that steadies you, reminding you to breathe. The eternal voice of Athena is not far. It is already speaking. It is the whisper that asks you to wait when anger rises. It is the murmur that tells you to trust when fear takes hold. It is the calm that settles you when grief clouds your sight. This is her gift, the voice that endures, the throne that does not break. The ancients told her stories so that we might remember the unseen. We tell it again now, not as myth, but as mirror. For her throne is not a relic, but a reminder of what we carry. And though gods may fade from memory, wisdom never dies. The olive tree still grows, the chamber of echoes still whispers, and silence, always, is waiting to teach, if we are ready. So as we close this tale, do not think of it as an ending. Think of it as a beginning, a path turning inward. Athena's throne does not ask for worship, only for awareness. Her eternal voice does not command, only invites us to listen. And when you leave this story, carry that voice with you. Carry it into your choices, your moments, your quiet hours. Let it guide you gently, as it has guided countless before. For wisdom is never far. It is only waiting for you to hear. And the eternal throne of Athena, unseen yet present, is yours to find.